Hello, my beautiful and lovely gamers. My name is Jonal, and today I will come to you guys with my biggest tip. The reason that a lot of you guys are losing your competitive matches, not ranking up, stuck in certain ranks, or if you play on a team, because this is something that I learned from my team when I was creating my team and I was coaching my team and ranking them up. And, when we were, starting playing in tournaments, a big reason why people lose tournaments, we knew that there were certain teams that we beat very convincingly took down in tournaments because they had these exact issues with their players. Of course, if you want to rank up in competitive, you need to have your mechanical down, you need to have your aim, you need to have your positioning. But when I private coach people, a lot of time I see they have the mechanical, they have the game sense, they understand, they do pretty good ults and stuff like that. And of course, they're not 100% perfect, but for them to be in platinum right now, they should be in diamond at least. It should be like in mid diamond, but they're starting platinum. And the reason for this is toxicity, tilting, frustration, irritation, whatever you want to use. I'm just gonna call it tilting. And the fact that they either do it towards their team or they get affected a lot by their team. What you have to understand when you play on a team, and you are playing on a team when you are queuing for competitive, they might not feel like it, but you have 5 team members plus yourself, and you cannot be affected. If you play on a proper, like, a competitive team, you need to understand that you cannot be frustrated, you cannot flame each other, you need to focus 100% on the game, and that's what most people don't do. You will get frustrated that your team is playing bad. You might have a really bad Ana. I'm not going to argue if your Ana is bad or not, but you might have a really bad Ana, or a really bad Mercy, or DPS, or a tank, who is absolutely stupid. You might have the worst Midowmaker on EU servers whatsoever. And it's really great if that's the case that you acknowledge it. And please do. If that you can acknowledge that is huge, because then you know, okay, we have less healing. I might have to play closer to packs, health packs. I might need to go closer to my supports to get healing. Maybe I have to rely on my Lucio healing, play more on the objectives since that gives passive healing. All of that, that's really great. But if you're frustrated about it, if you're like, okay, my Ana is so stupid, why do I have this stupid Ana? Why can't you just heal me? Why, right? But when you're focusing like that, you are losing focus of the game, and that is true. So a lot of people say that they don't lose focus. You do, unless you are already at top 500, a really good tier 2 player or a tier 1 player, which really can, to a certain extent, control your emotions and are so good at the game. 9 out of 10 of you guys will be disturbed by the fact that you're focusing more on how bad your team is instead of looking at the enemy team, finding weaknesses in the enemy team that you can exploit. Instead of that, you're putting your mindset in the fact that your team is so bad, or even worse, you are paying attention to people flaming you, right? We have all experienced this. I know a lot of you guys play support, or a lot of you guys play Hanzos or Genjin. You'll get yelled at, even from the beginning of the spawn, but just locking a Hanzo, you'll get yelled at because they don't believe in the Hanzo, and how it works in Overwatch is, if they believe that the hero that you just locked is not gonna work, in their mind it's never gonna work. It doesn't matter how good you are on it or how many frags you get, that's the reason that you lose, and they will be toxic about it. Of course, I don't hope anyone from my community here are toxic about that, but if you're focusing on the fact that, my team is telling me I'm so bad, that a lot of the time pushes anger, frustration, aggression out of you, which you take out in the gameplay, which a lot of time actually makes you play worse. What I do, if someone starts yelling at me, to a certain extent I try to reason with them. If that doesn't work, I'll not leave voice chat, because if you leave voice chat, then you're screwed, then you tilt everyone even more. Instead, what I like to do, I like to turn down the audio of either the comms, or I'll just mute the guy without telling him that I muted him. That way, I'll kind of, to a certain extent, ignore him or tell him that I muted him. But I'm trying to be nice and calm and collected, because what you don't want is also to tilt your team. Which, if you flame people, you are. If you're toxic in your matches, you are tilting your team. Definitely, you are one of the big reasons that you're losing matches. You have a shit Widowmaker. You have the worst Widowmaker on EU servers. Telling her how bad she is not suddenly gonna make her realize, oh, I'm bad at Widowmaker, well, better step that up, and then she's gonna be good all of a sudden. And you're not gonna make her swap. A lot of times you're not. You're just gonna make stuff even worse. And what you're doing is you're tilting the Widowmaker so she'll play more aggressive a lot of time or not care or something like that, and you will ruin her to get focused on the game. You spend your own energy, which you could focus on actually winning the game, looking for weaknesses and just play with what you have. You could use that to win the game, and you're a lot of time frustrating or getting the rest of your team irritated, which again makes them play worse. So what you're doing, you're just making your team unfocused. You're not letting your team focus on the game. You instead focus on fighting each other and spending a lot of energy and resources on fighting each other instead of actually fighting the enemy, which is what you should be doing. My team had a rule when I was team captain that after, like during a match, even when our Zarya, I think it was even in a tournament, our Zarya shot a Graviton at a deflect and killed our entire team, and that gave the enemy team enough ult advantage to make sure that we didn't win King's Row, I think it was, in a tournament. That was a really important match for us. But none of us flamed the Zarya, right? We mentioned it afterwards. A lot of time people know when they do a mistake, and you rubbing their nose in their mistake or people rubbing your nose in your own mistakes are not gonna help. Everyone knows that if you Dragon Blade and you don't get any kills with it and just die, that was a bad Dragon Blade. Telling the guy or getting told that, you know, that was a bad Dragon Blade, it's like, no shit, Sherlock. Of course it was a bad Dragon Blade. But not dwelling with the past. Our Zarya shot to deflect at the Graviton. Okay. Now we just have, instead of focusing on why Zarya, why did you do that? Why are you so stupid? You're supposed to be a Grandmaster player. You're supposed to play in the first division. How can you be so stupid, right? Instead of going on a full rant and making the entire team irritated, we instead were like, okay, so they probably have, they used, okay, but we use Graviton Bot, and they probably have theirs now. They probably have Earthshadow, but they use Dragon Blade, they use Drop Beat. Okay, so we know that they use those too. So instead of focusing on the bad thing that happened, we just go straight on. What is the consequences of this action? What does this mean for us? And how can we try to minimize the damage? So what I think what my team tried to do, we tried to do an aggressive dry push, which doesn't mean we rush them and try to burn their ult advantage. Making them kind of like, we tried to minimize the time because we knew we were going to lose 2 team fights due to ults. So we kind of just ran in as fast as we could and made them burn the Graviton and Earthshatter to minimize their ult management, and then we tried to recapitalize on our ult economy. And that's really what I want just to talk to you guys about. Try not to be frustrated. I know it's hard, and if you see a team member getting harassed in chat, please try to calm down the guy, tell him, yo, dude, yo, I know this guy, he might not be good or whatever, or I don't agree, this guy is not the problem, or the Widow is not the problem. Man, please just calm down, you're making me angry and frustrated, and then I'm playing worse. You're actually making us lose the game because I'm getting frustrated. If you have a friend, you can use him as leverage, and our Ana, which is your friend, for example, in the duo queue, he's also getting really frustrated and angry that you're yelling here, and that really makes us lose the game. Can we just focus on winning and being the enemy team? We got this. You are a good player. I know you're a good player. You're really good, Winston. Let's just, you and me, let's just really just wreck him. Because you already are, a lot of time, if you have a bad player, you already put in this situation with really, really bad odds. And you yelling at it and making people frustrated, angry, and make them play worse, which essentially everyone is when they're starting yelling and being toxic. Everyone just start playing worse. You are taking the disadvantage you already had, and then you're just adding more disadvantages because people are gonna play worse. You need to try your very best to stay calm, collective, and to a certain extent happy. Focus on the game instead of focusing on, you know, your team members. And I think that the community and a lot of people which are private coach or a lot of people that I talk to are focusing so much on the fact that when I go into the game, I'm just gonna look at my team composition. I'm gonna look at the ranks of my players. I'm gonna look at how they play, instead of actually just paying attention to what is the enemy team doing. Focus on yourself, your own gameplay, and how the, you know, your team, acknowledge your team's weaknesses, acknowledge your team's strength, and acknowledge the enemy weaknesses, and try to find those instead of trying to find all the flaws in your team and kind of just sit there and complain about them. I really hope that this video helped, guys, and I really hope I got my point across. This is a video I wanted to make for a very, very long time. Been trying to put it down, really how to phrase it. So if you like it, press the like and dislike. If you don't, drop down any question, comment, request whatsoever down in the comments. And as always, guys, I'll try to respond to it or at least note it down to a later video if I can. Thank you for the amazing support. We hit 4,500 subscribers. Like, holy shit. Thanks, guys, for the amazing support. Also on my Twitch stream, the people come in there and say hi and talk to me is such an amazing experience. I love you guys for it. As always, guys, my name has been Jonal. Stay positive and keep the enemy in your crosshairs.